Hey everyone, my name is Dillon Gonzalez. I'm the editorial director of GeekVibesNation.com and also a co-host of the Home Dance Film Festival podcast. And welcome to a brand new episode of No Streaming Required, your weekly deep dive into the latest and greatest in the world of physical media. Welcome back. We have another amazing show for you this week. It is that time of the month where we explore the Warner Archive. We dig deep into some classic movies from one of my favorite boutique labels, but we also have some titles from 88 Films, Sony, Film Masters. There's a lot of really good stuff to dig into this week. As usual, I'll be trying to give a broad overview of each of these titles, but if you need a little bit more of a deeper dive, I'll be doing some written reviews for some of these on GeekVibesNation.com within a week or so of this being released. But for now, I'm going to just dig right in to my first of two 4K upgrades from our friends at Sony. The first is a Best Picture nominee, I believe from 1990. It is Penny Marshall's Awakenings, starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. This is a film that's very emotional, very heartfelt, based on a true story of a doctor. I believe this was in the 1960s. Who came to a institution where he was working on a floor with mostly kind of catatonic patients, patients that just were kind of very unable to mostly speak or communicate or anything like that. They were just kind of more in a catatonic state until he started kind of picking up on different aspects of their treatment, and these patients were post-encephalitis catatonia, and he kind of started figuring out ways to connect with them and eventually find kind of medicine that could kind of bring them, awaken them from their catatonic state. They had been kind of trapped in their bodies for decades, and they were finally able to be revived, not permanently, for like a summer, for several weeks. And this is really just a story of him going through that process, connecting with certain patients, primarily the Robert De Niro character, and just kind of the balance between trying to make advancements in medicine and kind of the idealistic nature of trying to progress and make improvements for people's lives in comparison with the realities of the time and kind of financial burdens and physical burdens and that were put on them. But what this movie does a good job is they do include a lot of the medical processes and stuff, but they always grounded in emotions. And this is about a doctor, Robin Williams, who is very kind of reserved in his own life, who's devoting himself to his patients and the connections he forms while trying to kind of rescue them from their prison of their own bodies. It's a really, really good movie. There's some really good performances, as you would expect with actors of this caliber. It's emotional without being too cloying. It's just really well balanced. I think Penny Marshall, she made some absolute bangers back in the day. League of Their Own is one of my absolute favorite movies, and this one is really good as well. So that one has also received a 4K upgrade from Sony, so I'm glad they're continuing with her movies. Especially, like I said, this is a Best Picture nominee, so it's very, very much due for an upgrade. I'd never owned this before, but I had watched it on streaming a few years back for the first time, and I really liked it, so I was glad to finally be able to own this one on physical media. As you may have seen, there's only a 4K disc. There's not a Blu-ray with this. But there is a digital code that comes, that's not in here right now, but it can come with it if you need an alternate copy. But this has been given a 4K master in Dolby Vision. I've never seen this previously on disc, so I'm not sure how it compares, but I can say that this 4K master looks really incredible. It has natural film grain, completely intact, which you expect from Sony. The encode's pretty strong as well. Not much in the way of blown highlights, maybe small bits here and there, like a little bit of noise in the sky, but it holds together pretty well. No crushed blacks. The texture on display is very nice. The colors are nice and natural as well. You do get a new Atmos track, as well as a 5.1 and the original 2.0 track. The Atmos track, given the nature of the story, isn't like the most like bombastic, but in terms of the beautiful score, it's very nice and immersive, and there's small bits of environmental detail that make the Atmos track a really nice addition, in addition to the original audio track that sounds really great. And you get a couple of archival special features, a making of featurettes, some archival interviews, and a trailer. So if you're a fan of Awakenings, Sony has done a nice job with this one, and I highly recommend it. It's two powerhouse performers and a really nice ensemble of character actors putting forth good work, and it's just a really, really nice movie. So Awakenings, make sure to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's a real gem. And another one from Sony that is completely different, but another one that I've rewatched in recent years. This is a 4K upgrade of Anaconda, the 1997 original. We have the new movie coming out in a couple of weeks from Sony, but then we're going back to the original creature feature, which I actually just covered on the channel last year when Mill Creek put out a re-release of their Blu-ray in a steelbook as well. But now we got a proper 4K upgrade, which even if you were upgrading Blu-rays from Mill Creek, given their track record, it would have been a major upgrade. But the fact that we're getting the 4K upgrade that I so desperately wanted at that time, it's a game changer, because this movie, it is a lot of fun. I won't go too deeply into it since I did just cover this last year. But it's a lot of fun if you have a pretty charismatic ensemble. You have people like Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Ice Cube. You have John Voight. All kind of going down river for different purposes, but all equally getting in the path of a giant anaconda, and just all kinds of madness and mayhem ensuing. And it is ridiculous, but what I really like about this movie is there is a part of it, not all of it, a part of it that does try to go more practical in nature. And that's what I love the movie the most, is whenever you see that giant snake, but you do get some of that kind of built like animatronics, or just kind of practical special effects that are built and showing the snake. And then it does go to CGI at times, which by modern standards can look quite dated, but there's still a charm to it. And I think the mixture, the blending of the practical with the CGI is definitely the way to go over some like the more fully CGI that just doesn't hold that same charm for me. But I've been waiting for this to get the 4K upgrade. It finally has, given a 4K restoration from the original camera negative in Dolby Vision. It looks really, really great, especially compared to that old Mill Creek disc. That one it was based from like an old DVD era master, very washed out colors, just very little in the way of fine texture or detail. It just like had a really gauzy look to it. Now that you got a new fresh scan, it looks as intended. The colors are so much more vibrant, especially with them being in this lush jungle for so much of the movie. It's just so much better. The black levels are way deeper. There's no blown highlights. So much more texture within this boat. It doesn't make the CGI magically better, but things blend pretty well, and it's authentic to how it originally looked when it came out. And the practical effects look way better as well, because you can kind of see the details that these experts put into creating this. Whenever that specific Blu-ray disc came out from Mill Creek last year, it only had a DTS 2.0 audio soundtrack. And now this one, it doesn't have a 2.0. It has a new Atmos track and the original 5.1 track. So the audio is really lacking on that Mill Creek release. This has been given a proper remix and the original audio track. The Atmos track for this one, compared to Awakenings, is of course much more active. There's a lot more action on screen, and it sounds really good with the height channel additions. But if you want to go to the 5.1 track, it sounds just as formidable as it needs to, and everything is just... I was blown away by this presentation of Anaconda. They don't go overboard in terms of special features. That original Mill Creek disc had an interview with the director that is on this new Sony disc, but there is a time discrepancy. The version on this new Sony disc here, it's actually like 2 or 3 minutes longer than the Mill Creek disc. I didn't do like a side-by-side comparison to know what is extended in this Sony version, but it is slightly longer. But it does appear to be from the same interview, because I was checking, and it's like the same kind of Zoom interview with like interspersed with clips and everything, like the stories were aligning from what I checked out. But I didn't watch it twice through to see what was different. You do get a couple of other special features, like a new interview that hasn't been on a previous release, and along with some extended and deleted scenes and a trailer and stuff. So no Blu-ray version with this, but the 4K disc looks great. Some good interviews and special features. If you're a fan of this movie, this has been stuck with an ancient master for far too long, so you can finally watch it as it deserves to be seen. So Anaconda on 4K, make sure to check it out. It's a huge upgrade for fans, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. And once again, for something completely different, fresh from theaters from Universal and DreamWorks, we have the kids movie Gabby's Dollhouse the movie. Now, I have never seen a second of Gabby's Dollhouse. I am told that it is incredibly popular with kids. And I talk about kids/family movies a lot on this show whenever they come in, because I like a good family film. But I think there's an important distinction to be made between what is a kids film and what is a family film. Because family films are mostly intended for a younger audience, but they can be enjoyed by the whole family. A genuine kids movie typically won't hold a lot for an adult audience. It's more so just the adults accompanying the kids to enjoy, and the adults just have to kind of zone out and just kind of just do whatever they need to do to pass the time. And I would say that Gabby's Dollhouse the movie is more so like definitely a kids movie. If you have young children who love Gabby's Dollhouse, they are going to love this film. But if you are like me and my wife, who do not have children, and we watched this probably solely because Kristen Wiig is in this movie, there wasn't a lot for us outside of her and a couple of other like key voice actors like Jason Mantzoukas or Thomas Lennon. But I'm not going to hate on this movie because it's not for me. It is for young kids who love Gabby's Dollhouse. And there were some chuckles along the way with the different small things, but by and large, it just wasn't a movie that I was going to ever completely love. But it's from... I don't know a lot about the lore of the show or anything. It should probably not too complicated, but it follows the titular Gabby, who goes on a trip with her grandmother to Cat Francisco. There's a lot of cat related imagery and puns within this movie. She loses kind of her favorite like magical dollhouse, and kind of gets picked up by Kristen Wiig's character, who's just obsessed with it and everything. And it's a movie that goes back and forth between live action and animation. But I grew up with children's programming, of course, and there's definitely stuff like Blue's Clues and stuff where the hosts would talk directly to camera, like, do you know what, like, do you know what that sound is? Do you know what this is? Like that kind of thing. That's going on a lot through Gabby's Dollhouse. She is talking a lot directly to the young audience that is supposed to be watching the movie. So there's a lot of that fourth wall breaking. that you would kind of expect for a younger set. So just have that in mind if you're planning on watching this movie. Like if you're like my household that want to just watch it for Kristen Wiig, you will be entertained by her segments and of the movie and her moments in the movie, because she's playing like an over the top outlandish villain who is serving, and if that's what you want, you get that from her. She's having a blast in this role. But just on a narrative level, it's not super complicated, and it's very much geared towards children. So if you do have young children, or you're just in it for Kristen, this Blu-ray is a good investment. I'm sure it'll get a ton of plays in your house if you have young children. The Blu-ray looks very nice and like vibrant, nice colors. Just great textures. It's a brand new movie, so it just looks amazing. And like all the animated sequences also look really nice and crisp and clear. Dolby 7.1 lossless audio sounds very active, nice, bombastic soundtrack. It sounds really good. And you get a nice number of special features. Like you get a filmmaker and crew commentary track, which a lot of the younger audiences probably won't be listening to, but if you're an adult and you want to try it out, check it out. You get various featurettes and deleted scenes and stuff, really packed with special features, but that can appeal to both the older crowd and a younger crowd. Like there's stuff like how to make certain things from the movie and stuff. So yeah, it's I'm not going to judge this too harshly just because it's not for me, but Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, probably a rough watch for just adults, but if you have kids, they're going to love it. It's a vibrant, fun, like sparkly time, and if that's what you want, you're going to get that from this movie. So do with that information as you will. It's a decent movie for young kids. But now is when we start going back to our friends at the Warner Archive, going to our classic cinema roots, starting off with one that I was very excited about. With William Powell and Myrna Loy, we have I Love You Again. This was a delightful feature in which William Powell plays a man who gets bonked on the head and kind of reverts back to his shady past as a con man. He doesn't remember that he is married to Myrna Loy, who he has been having issues with, and is on the verge of divorce with her. And whenever he kind of returns home from this trip where he receives this nasty head blow, he doesn't let on that he is suffering this amnesia in order to play out a con with another passenger he was on board with, and kind of like pull off this kind of like get rich quick scheme. But what he doesn't know that along the way he is going to fall in love with his wife, and kind of reconnect with her and just kind of like show her a different man than she had been with prior to his accident, he was kind of like a stuffy, kind of like just kind of cold man, and he's now kind of like an open, like loving guy, and it's just like it's very much tonal whiplash for her, but it's an interesting story of just like connection and romance, and like figuring out who you are and finding new layers of yourself, and just kind of rediscovering why they fell in love with each other in the first place, all while there's this kind of lingering crime plot in the background that's not overly important, but it helps kind of drive things along. I really liked it. I love these two in the Thin Man series. That's one of my favorite old school Hollywood series, and they just have such dynamic chemistry. I just personally am in love with Myrna Loy, and just everything she's in, I'll take all of it. And it was such a blast watching this. This comes from a new 4K restoration of the best existing preservation elements, which means while they may have not had a completely intact original camera negative, they use the best elements available, and the results are fantastic here. I wouldn't have noticed that's not from original camera negative, because everything is just as crisp and clear as you would expect from the team at Warner Archive and Motion Picture Imaging. Just really nice contrast, deep black levels, no major nicks or scratches. Everything just holds up very, very well. The sound has been restored quite deftly as well, where you don't have any like shrill highs or just like popping or anything like that. It's just a really fantastic restoration effort. You also get a couple of special features, including a radio program, an old school radio show. You get a short film, cartoons, and a trailer. Overall, if you're a fan of classic romantic comedy cinema, I Love You Again is definitely a good addition to your collection. Staying on the comedic wavelength, we've got another HD upgrade for our Marx Brothers movie. This time we are going to At the Circus. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We have the Marx Brothers at a circus where they are trying to kind of save it, and there's all kinds of... This is just like a good excuse for them to kind of have opulent set pieces. You have Groucho trying to collect a valuable item from like a trapeze artist, and you see him kind of going all like upside down and trying to catch this woman. You have like gorillas roaming around. You have just all kinds of just ridiculous set pieces, all in the service of Marx Brother pratfalls. It's been a slow but rewarding trickle of Marx Brothers movies on Blu-ray from Warner Archive. I'm glad to get another one from the set. I will admit that at the Circus is not my favorite Marx Brothers that I've seen from the Warner Archive yet, but still has plenty of laughs. There's some good songs along here as well. It's just not like my highest echelon of Marx Brothers movies, but still quite a fun time. If you're a Marx Brothers fan, I think you'll be very pleased, of course, to get this upgraded to Blu-ray. Once again, 4K restoration from the best preservation elements. Once again, also looking really, really good and sounding good. No nicks or scratches or popping or anything like that. Such care has been put into this restoration that this classic is deserving of, and they've done a really knockout job. You get a nice number of special features, including a short film, cartoon, a promo like radio piece, and a trailer. So if you're a fan of Marx Brothers, no reason not to pick this up for your collection. It's another one of their hilarious movies, and now looking better than ever on Blu-ray. Getting a comedic side of an actress I don't usually think of first whenever I'm thinking of comedies. We have Bette Davis and Jimmy Cagney and The Bride Came, C.O.D. So this is a movie in which Bette Davis plays an heiress who is thinking about getting married to a man that her father doesn't quite approve of. So he hires James Cagney's character to kidnap her and bring her back home, and he will kind of he will give him a large sum of money that will help him pay off a debt. But along the way, things don't go quite so smoothly. There might be a crash landing, and there is just kind of this dynamic between the two stars in which they may hate each other at first, but enemies to lovers is a classic trope for a reason, and that may just be the case here. There's a lot of like screwball slapsticky stuff going on here. Pretty decent plot. There's definitely some kind of regressive notions in terms of like consent and stuff compared to today. But overall, it's a pretty decent time, despite some kind of things kind of making me wince from an ethical point of view. but they don't overdo it, and it's still a decent time. Betty Davis is really good in a comedy role, and I really enjoyed seeing her here. Cagney, while he is very serious in most of his movies, I've seen him in comedies before, but he's a real firecracker in here, and they just a really good chemistry with Davis. Really, really good looking Blu-ray. This is one where we have a 4K scan of the original camera negative, so this looks fantastic, as you would expect from Warner Archive. No lingering nicks or scratches. Perfect grayscale. Nice textures on the clothing. Just everything you could want from a Blu-ray. The Bride came C.O.D. It gives you what you need. So beyond the practically perfect audiovisual presentation, we have a Warner Night at the Movies experience, which is typically where they'll give you like an old school newsreel, a cartoon, previews of other movies and stuff like that. So that's ported over from the previous DVD. You also get like additional like radio programs and cartoons and everything. So really nice package here from Warner Archive for The Bride Came C.O.D. And we continue down that comedic path with Betty Davis once again in It's Love, I'm After. Now, this movie, she is not as a prominent role in this. She disappears for quite a large portion of the movie, but she is still nonetheless important. Leslie Howard is our main lead here. He is kind of like he's very much a cad who, he's a performer. He's in a relationship with Betty Davis's character. They're always kind of like very volatile with one another, but he's finally committed, even though he said it several times in the past, to finally marrying Betty Davis's character, until he is visited by the suitor of a girl that he met one time at his show, who's like instantly fell in love with him and is obsessed with him. So he is asked to come visit her to kind of sour this lady's love for him, so she can kind of focus more so on the man she is scheduled to be like married to at one point. And he decides to go through with this in order to prove to his lady that he is a good person who can do nice things for other people. But along the way, he also starts to get an idea like, oh, this lady really loves me. Maybe I should be with her instead. So it comes like a love triangle, like square type of thing. Olivia de Havilland is the love-struck younger woman who is like obsessed with Leslie Howard's character, and she's very funny in this role as well. I love Olivia de Havilland. She's such a queen. We lost her in recent years, but she was just such an amazing on-screen performer back in the day, and this is such the case here. But Betty Davis, whenever she is on screen, is really good in this role, and Leslie Howard is really good at making you kind of think that he is kind of a ridiculous, lecherous person. So on that front, he's doing a very good job as well. Lots of ridiculous, hilarious things going on here, but ultimately it is a sweet movie. And it's also kind of a New Year's Eve movie as well. So if you're interested in that aspect, you should note that as well. It's Love, I'm After. Really fun film, and glad it got a new Blu-ray presentation. It's a new 4K scan of the original camera negative. Looks really, really great. Once again, I'm repeating myself, but Warner Archive, they're one of the best in the business. So once again, you have no nicks or scratches. Really, really nice textures on the clothing and in the background. No telecine wobble. Nothing is off here. And it sounds really good as well. And they've delivered a few special features as well, including some cartoons and a trailer. So once again, Betty Davis in a comedic role. If you love any of these performers, this one's well worth it. I had a good time with this one, and after these two Betty Davis performances, I'm now a new believer in Betty Davis as a comedian. But now we take things more towards a serious road, going over to a pretty epically scaled drama, The Miracle, starring Carol Baker. and Roger Moore is in here as well. But Carol Baker plays a lady who is on the verge of becoming a nun. She meets up with the Roger Moore character, and who's a soldier, and who is like in the midst of war times. And she loses track of him and decides to kind of give up her kind of position as like on her path to becoming a nun to go search for him. But there's the titular miracle involves like this statue that is in the convent, like coming alive and taking her place within this convent while she goes off to like find this man that she loves, and then she kind of gets in with a band of travelers. It's very complicated and stuff. But what this really is like a tale of faith, a tale of longing and love and dedication and action. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. Carol Baker does a nice job in what's kind of almost dual roles, where she's kind of taking on her like original like humanly form, like this girl who starts out in the convent, and then like this statue that comes to life, she kind of has to play that off as well. It's uniquely kind of like fantastical in a movie that otherwise is fairly grounded, but for that reason, it's a unique kind of experience that I didn't know what to expect when I put this on, but it took some interesting routes, and overall, I did enjoy it. It's one that I, just with the generic title, I probably would have like skipped over for a while, but since it's from Warner Archive, I always prioritize their titles, and it's very much a nice discovery. This one is very impressive because this has been giving a 6K scan of the Technorama negative. This is a epically scaled movie, and the cinematography kind of reflects that narrative ambition, and it looks impeccable. Really, really nice Blu-ray presentation. Just such deep colors, nice textures, so much going on within the frame that is newly unearthed with this release, and just looks amazing. You get some cartoons with this that are really fun as well, but just Warner Archive, they've already always hit it out of the park with their Blu-ray releases, and The Miracle is no exception. And my final title for Warner Archive this week is a title with Alan Ladd called The Iron Mistress. This is about Jim Bowie of the Bowie Knife. Kind of his life, his kind of early life. Growing up, falling kind of in love with this woman who's a little bit in an upper echelon of society compared to him, and his kind of strive to make a better life for himself, to get with her, and all the drama that goes along with this. There's horse racing, there's infidelity, there's duels, there's a lot of stuff going on in this man's life, and you get to see the creation of the Bowie knife. It's very epic. There's bits of space debris put in there. It's crazy. But Alan Ladd pulls it all off with a nice quiet charisma that he's known for. He is at Paramount for many years. This was his first movie over at Warner, and it's a good one. Virginia Mayo is the woman that he is after, who may not be the best for him, but he has his sights on her nonetheless, and that leads to various dramatic developments. If you like a good kind of sprawling, it's not quite a Western, but just like a sprawling drama that mostly takes place in like kind of Appalachia type rustic environments. This one's a pretty decent time. It's pretty long. It's like a pretty decently length. But all the developments are very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I like Alan Ladd, and this was a good one. This is given a 4K scan of the Technicolor negative. Warner Archive always does a really amazing job with Technicolor movies, and this is no exception. This looks stunning. I can't say anything new for Warner Archive. They just really hit it out of the park every time. Sound is good as well. There's some cartoons for special features. But the AV presentation is really just unparalleled. So if you're a fan of Alan Ladd, this is an easy addition to your collection. The Iron Mistress, really an engaging time and really worth your money. Sticking in the land of classic cinema, but going over to a different label, we're heading over to Film Masters and their release of Lady of Burlesque with Barbara Stanwyck. Now I love Barbara Stanwyck, and I had heard bits and pieces about this movies over the last few years. There's a really fun Twitter account, Molly Raspberry, who went through a very lengthy Barbara Stanwyck phase, and hearing her hype up this movie made me make sure that I would track this one down when it finally hit Blu-ray. And Film Masters has done a nice job with this tale of Barbara Stanwyck as a burlesque dancer who is wears some shocking outfits for the time, but she doing some great numbers and just having a good old time until a murder mystery kind of pops up. Someone ends up dead, and there are all kinds of suspects within her kind of troupe and people who are like around at the time. So the murder weapon is especially interesting. I will not ruin that surprise for anyone who doesn't know, but it's a comedic murder mystery with a really fun Barbara Stanwyck performance. She looks fantastic here. She has some really great musical numbers. You really couldn't ask for more if you're a Barbara Stanwyck fan of just really, really fun, good times from Barbara Stanwyck. Just great comedic timing, but also dramatic when she needs to be. Just such a fierce screen performance and presence that you just can't look away from her. And this Film Masters release is really nice. You get a 4K scan of 35mm archival elements. It's not perfect, but it looks really, really good. Especially considering this wasn't super readily available previously. The elements that they used did hold up pretty well. There's some nice texture in the backgrounds, nice firm contrast. There's not much in the way of any flickering or anything like that. The black levels are pretty deep. I didn't notice a lot in the way of like damage or anything like that. I think most people will be pleased with this release. And you get a new commentary track with this one as well. And the booklet, like I showed off. And yeah, so this, and also I want to note that some Film Masters releases are burn disc. This is a press disc. I think there's limited editions, usually are press disc, but I just want to make sure that people know that you will not be getting a burn disc with this one, at least on this initial pressing. So make sure to check this out if you're a Barbara Stanwyck fan. You will not be disappointed. It's a really great role for her, and she's just such a fun screen presence. You will not be disappointed. And finally, I usually, most weeks, seem to talk about Hong Kong cinema, but you thought you were going to get away without it this week. No, you have to hear about the 88 Films release of Rosa. Now, this was a movie that was not really on my radar, but is a really fun time about two kind of inept, but like playfully inept police officers who have to team up to try to track down the girlfriend of a police informant who is in danger because she is probably the only one who might know where her boyfriend is. And whoever is going to track her down will likely either protect her or kill her, depending on which side gets to her first. And along the way, there may be some more romantic sparks that fly and everything. I just want to, this is the reversible cover art here. But yeah, this has some pretty decent action, but it's very much a lighter tone here. But just really good action, set pieces, some really like the things that I personally have an issue with, but probably a lot of casual fans of Hong Kong cinema might not. There's some really kind of dated thoughts on like sexual harassment and stuff that kind of made me squeamish is a little bit too rough of a word, but I just did kind of make me wince a few times with some of the things that they were saying to this poor lady, or some of the things that they were kind of trying to trick her into. But it is a product of the time, and especially of like action comedies, like use like kind of like sexual deviancy or like sexual assault as a punchline a lot back in the day. So you just kind of had to go into this subgenre knowing it. But it is worth noting that there are some things that will make you, at the very least, raise an eyebrow or just kind of like roll your eyes at how ridiculous they were. But it's kind of complemented by some really good action, some decent slapstick comedy, and it's overall a fun time, even if I do have a few issues with it. 88 Films has done a really nice job with this release. It has been given a new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. Looks really, really nice. No lingering debris or anything like that. Everything holds together really well. Nice, vibrant colors. I didn't notice any like squished framing or anything like that. Everything seems to look really, really nice from 88 Films. And anyone who's a fan of Hong Kong cinema, I think will be pleased with this release. You get both the original or restored Cantonese audio and an English dub. Of course, I always recommend the original audio, but it's worth noting that the dub is included. You get 2 commentary tracks, you get an interview, you get image galleries, you get alternate English credits. Really nice attention to detail throughout this package. And so if you're a fan of Hong Kong cinema, action cinema, Rosa, it's a good time. A little bit ridiculous, but still a fun time. So 88 Films has done a nice job with this one. That is my show. I hope you have found something that you are interested in checking out. If so, make sure to leave that in the comments. Let me know what you're wanting to check out or add to your collection. If there's anything you want me to talk about on a future show, make sure to leave that as well. I appreciate any interactions from fans or anyone who supports me. I really, really your support means the world to me. So if you want to like this video, share this with anyone that you know loves physical media, or you want to get into physical media, that's always appreciated. If you're subscribed to the Geek Vibes Nation podcast channel or this YouTube channel, you'll make sure you don't miss an episode of this. I do this every week. I believe next week I'll be coming back with a holiday gift guide episode, so make sure to look forward to that. But until next time, enjoy these movies.